Billions of years ago, a meteorite made of vibranium.
Exposition about a meteorite. Meteor's position, expositionite, also deceleration.
What is that? Okay, I'm only gonna do the ones that are actually like bad, like actually like movie sins. I'm getting the feeling that there's a lot of BS in, at least at the vast beginning. So if I don't respond to one, it's BS.
Meteorite made of vibranium struck the continent of Africa, affecting the plant life around it.
Yeah, but just the plant life of Africa? I mean, wouldn't a meteorite big enough to affect an entire continent change a lot of things over the world?
Until...
Okay. It only affected Wakanda. I mean, that's what the writers made it. It's the meteorite was... We don't know how big the meteorite was, and it landed, and the writers made it affect a certain area and deal with it.
A warrior shaman received a vision from the Panther goddess Bast.
Who with the what now?
Led him to the
Panther goddess Bast. Is their god. I mean...
heart-shaped herb, a plant that granted him superhuman strength, speed, and instincts.
This plant is basically Jesus. Jesus!
The warrior
No,
became king, and the first Black Panther.
Roll kitties.
To keep vibranium safe, the Wakandans vowed to hide in plain sight.
You know, Wakanda has the same problem as Wonder Woman's Themyscira. You're telling me that before Claw did his heist, not one asshole stumbled upon Wakanda by accident in all those years? Yeah, it's surrounded by mountains and what looks like a rainforest, but there are still flying things like airplanes, right?
The airplanes obviously can't see through the vision blocker or whatever from below. They just think it's regular land. And around it on land, there's the border tribe to kill basically anyone who... or mislead or arrest anyone who stumbles upon it. That one's easy.
These two Grace Jones-looking chicks.
Funny joke, but Suri is soon revealed as being in on the whole undercover operation. So why would he continue the subterfuge, even after Njobu knows he's caught?
Because just in case something happens and Njobu backs out, he can still maintain his cover. That's not hard.
Ulysses Claw.
Who looks remarkably the same here as he will in 26 years.
Did you
whatever.
think that you were the only spy we sent here?
To Oakland? Yeah, totally. To the United States? No, I'm not that stupid. Point is, you have been too vague in your question for my answer to matter at all. Yes,
stupid.
it's only 33 seconds of logos, but it's all just one logo, and that's
Stupid.
excessive.
The tiny nation of Wakanda is mourning the death of its monarch.
I know we need the exposition for the people that didn't see Captain America Civil War, but T'Challa's seriously using his incredible technology to watch BBC News. This opening action
Let's watch
sequence
BBC.
is just way too dark. I can't even call the movie out for bad staging
Yeah,
or
it was a
choppy
little
editing
dark.
because I literally can't see anything.
You ruined my mission.
I will be crowned king tomorrow. I wish for you to be there.
Wait, Nakia was on an undercover mission to take down a group of human traffickers, and T'Challa f***ed it all up just so she could come to the crowning ceremony? I know it's important, but more important than busting a group of f***ing human traffickers?
Carry yourself.
Who knows how they dealt with human traffickers? Who knows what they're going to do about that later? I mean, we don't know enough about that. I mean, you could just project your own feelings about human traffickers, but, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's not enough there.
Home now and take the boy.
What? I realize she herself has to get back to Wakanda for the crowning tomorrow, but our heroes are literally turning to all these just now released prisoners and saying, "F***ing carry yourselves home. There's no further assistance you or Wakanda can provide." Believe it or not, this glory shot of the landscape with herds of animals running near a body of water is the least overt Lion King ripoff this movie has to offer, and that's saying something.
My little sister came to see me off before our big day.
Do siblings immediately identify each other as siblings anywhere else other than the movies?
Just because something works doesn't mean that it cannot be improved.
My dick in a nutshell. Dude, I don't care if it's his precociously brilliant sister or not. Shuri just flipped off the current prince and future king of this country in front of all these people with no repercussions. In case you confused it for London, Nebraska. I mean, seriously, does anyone need the UK part of this title card? This is the most London-y London shot ever to London.
Where's this one from?
Present-day Ghana.
It's getting
What
annoying.
about this one?
This eventual reveal is predicated on the fact that this museum refuses to use any descriptive cards for their priceless artifacts.
Let's give the ladies some space, please.
So why did they need the guys or the paramedics? There's no way the room cleared that fast. Oh, cool. I guess...
So that the cops will think that the paramedics are there and won't immediately be alerted.
Claw comes with a weapon polishing setting. Okay.
Yeah, it's sound. It's a sound cannon arm. It can... The least it could do is, like, get polish the weapon or whatever he said. Stupid.
Water is being drained ahead of the falls, and all these people are arriving by boat above the falls. So, is there a staircase in these rock faces? Do they all rappel down? Movie definitely yada yadas how everyone actually gets to the very specific and temporary location for the crowning/fight. The CG on these swing
There's sound in space. I don't know.
is so bad, the maker of Weebles has sued it in civil court for copyright infringement.
Wasn't that bad.
Black Panther.
I'm super confused about one thing. How the throne of Wakanda and the title of Black Panther are seemingly linked, and yet definitely not linked, because he's been Black Panther for a bit, even before his dad died. And now he has to have his Panther Purple Drank powers medically removed in order to fight for the honor of being king, upon which they will re-Purple Drank his ass and get his superpowers back. But he wasn't king before now, and still had powers, and was out there fighting. He was Black Panthering right after his dad died in Civil War. Did his dad decide to stay king, but give up the Panther juice to his son? God damn it, I've written 7 lines in a Word document about this, and I'm still angry about it, but also now questioning my sanity, and whether or not I'm the only one asking these questions.
All you had to do was wait for the deleted scenes where there was a scene with T'Chaka and young T'Challa, which got edited out, and they had a conversation all about how T'Challa was going to take up the role of Black Panther while T'Chaka was still king, and then he was going to, at some point, become king in Black Panther. So yeah, the Black Panther and the king can be separated based off of the wishes of the king.
Did no one notice that the Jabari tribe was missing from this entire ceremony before now? I mean, it makes for a dramatic entrance, but they're definitely a part of Wakanda, and this is a pretty important day. Marvel, look, you should make a spin-off horror series about M'Baku in the clay mask. I don't know if it's the double eyes, or the double mouth, or the Westworld-worthy map carved into his forehead, but this is the most frightening movie character I've seen in years.
Okay, the gorilla was based off of the comic character, M'Baku's comic character. He's the Gorilla King. And the Jabari tribe was off in the mountains, away from everyone else. They have a different god, Hanuman. They do everything different. They clearly haven't participated in the ceremony for years, so that's, yeah, not that hard.
Technological advancements have been overseen by a child who scoffs at tradition.
Okay, a few things. Technological advancements should be overseen by whoever makes them go smoothly and rapidly, which she is doing. Second, she's 17 going on 18, and almost no decent English-speaking person would call her a child. Third, you've been up in the mountains, dude. You don't get to come down after, I'm guessing, decades and start demanding. You chose to leave and live in seclusion. Fourth, and maybe most sinful, don't all teenagers scoff at tradition?
Those are totally American-based ideals. Like, oh, teenagers do this. You know, this is what you should do with technology. Like, it's a different country. Like, get the hell out of here. But it's a decent point about being up in the mountains. But I mean, they're still part of the kingdom, so they're up in the mountains. But they still have a right to voice their opinion. So.
Who could not keep his own father safe.
Low blow, especially since he and his father were way outside the borders of Wakanda, where they can't possibly control all variables. That got bombed, and dude is making it seem like T'Challa just refused to do the Heimlich maneuver.
He's the Black Panther. He's supposed to
Glory
be
to Hanuman.
Wait, who? Hanuman feels like a sudden new name we are giving glory prayers to.
Where is your God now?
That's their god, man. I mean, get the hell out of here, man. What are you, like, you freaking, like, judging people's religions and stuff?
M'Baku had some great trash talk before the fight, but what the hell does this have to do with anything?
Tell him who you are!
Character.
Wait.
Hanuman.
Wait, who? Hanuman feels like a sudden new name we are giving glory prayers to.
Where is your God now?
M'Baku had some great trash talk before the fight, but what the hell does this have to do with anything?
The Black Panther god is the Black Panther god. Where's your god now? This guy doesn't... Okay. He's frustrating me.
Character is close to death, but is able to come back because of an inspirational shout from the audience cliche.
Not just a cliche. His identity was rooted in his father. He said, I am T'Challa, king of T'Chaka. And that was his whole identity. That's the whole basis of the movie. And it shows how incredibly painful it was for him to find out about Eric Killmonger and to have to face all the Black Panthers in the otherworld scene and tell them all they were wrong. It's way more than a cliche.
We kill you! The I would rather die!
What the hell is T'Challa's plan here? If M'Baku doesn't yield, his ass is definitely going over the falls too. Even though he was just gored with a super heavy spear.
Okay, dude doesn't understand martial arts. He had him in a triangle choke. What he would have done, he would have choked M'Baku out, and then would have tossed him over the waterfall. Simple jujitsu.
His chest wound isn't bleeding at all because we don't want to obscure those beautiful abs, right?
Wakanda forever!
And so begins the most annoying request of Chadwick Boseman.
That last one about the wound, I mean, I don't know.
Just officially elected king.
That last one about the Wakanda forever, whatever. That's
T'Challa has to undergo the Purple Heart Flower ceremony in order to receive the Black Panther powers that he had prior to this, but apparently had to give up after his dad died until he was officially elected king or some. Point is, they half-assed this from the get-go. Damn, this is a.
No, he didn't give him up after his father became king. He temporarily gave his powers up to participate in the ceremony, and then he got him back. I mean, it's not hard. This guy's an idiot.
MCU movie, right? So why are the effects often so lacking? They couldn't afford those wet assholes that did the Jungle Book? I know T'Challa has security with him and everything, but nobody even looks at the King of Wakanda as he walks down a busy street, let alone asks for a selfie.
Whatever, doesn't matter.
Still growing.
Rhino shadowing.
My king.
Whatever.
My love.
Damn, this movie has a lot of expositional greetings.
Whatever.
And this movie does enjoy spending lots of its time gee-whizzing at itself.
And what are these?
The real question is, what are those?
Sure, he's the f***ing best.
The entire suit sits within the teeth of the necklace.
Man, I love this Q-style tech introduction of the gadgets as much as anyone. But the use of vibranium totally bypasses explanation of how all this shit was developed. Like, it's basically, this is the greatest tech ever invented. Yeah, but vibranium forever!
Do they explain lightsabers? Do they explain, like, batarangs and the Batmobile? Do they explain how Superman can fly? I mean,
Let's absorb the kinetic energy and hold it in place for redistribution.
But really only in this movie. You'll see it in Infinity War, but only in the wide shots for some reason.
Just whip it back and forth.
You probably could have saved a lot of money by bypassing Lupita Nyong'o in favor of Willow Smith for this role.
Eyes up, Americans.
I know Nakia's a badass spy and all that, but how the can she tell that all three are Americans just by looking at them from across the casino?
What I'm
because anthropology.
doing or not doing on behalf of the U.S. government is none of your concern.
I like Martin Freeman a lot. I even have a John Watson and a Bilbo Baggins poster up in my bedroom. But could they really not get an actual American actor to play the one American that's prominently featured in this movie?
Didn't I keep it under wraps that the king of a third world country runs around in a bulletproof catsuit?
Despite speaking in somewhat hushed tones, this super sensitive conversation is easily hearable by anyone nearby.
The king of Wakanda.
Can't tell.
Ross is a seasoned veteran of the CIA, but he seriously still talks into his sleeve when communicating with his team. In case we didn't have enough clues about what an evil prick Claw is, he doubles down on the parade of villainous black SUVs trope.
You got a mixtape
That's
coming
his
out?
character.
Actually, there is one. Yeah, I'll send you the SoundCloud link if you like.
Don't forget to catch me on my Insta too, and check out my Etsy.
Yes,
Hey, how the hell does useless henchman number 4 know who Okoye is? Even if they're getting set up, it's not like they'd know exactly who'd be with T'Challa.
Coogler, the director, said that he understood who Okoye was because she spoke in that dialect to know that she was Wakandan, and Ulysses called broke into Wakanda and stole like a ton of vibranium. So he knows a few things about Wakanda. It's not that hard to think that he would tell his guys what Wakandan sounds like.
Claw fires 3 rounds directly into the bulletproof suitcase instead of aiming literally anywhere else. This casino fight is
The bullets went into the suitcase, so he must have thought they were penetrating.
punctuated by this glorious one-shot up and back down, then back up again panning action. Bravo, movie.
The camera actually went with the music as well, and they wanted to show the differences between the ritual-like, dance-like martial arts that Okoye was doing and the I don't give a damn, I'll grab everything to beat you up type of brawling that Nakia was doing. It was kind of showing the contrast between it was playing on the theme of tradition versus innovation that Coogler was going for. So the one shot was awesome.
Man, good thing Claw was out of bullets there, or T'Challa would have totally wasted that bulletproof suit he's not currently wearing.
Wait, which side of the road is it?
For God's sake, just try.
Yeah, but that's very important information, and it takes much less time to just say right.
Keep going.
Look, I know it's a preposterous superhero movie, but seriously, this works. What the hell was this dude's plan? Sure, the bullets can't penetrate the car, but they can totally penetrate the obvious Okoye on top of the car. Wow, I must have missed the part where this Black Panther movie officially turned
She has like bulletproof clothes on.
into a Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Every Marvel movie has humor. Whatever. They use that to show the humor instead of putting the humor in the dialogue.
Don't hurt me. No more.
Of all the songs to have Claw sing while in custody so that we know he's crazy, you guys went with this one?
That was a
Shepherds,
cool scene.
textiles, cool outfits. It's all a front.
Does T'Challa really need the secret communications device? I mean, they have a one-way mirror in this interrogation room, so why wouldn't they also be able to hear what they're saying?
Yeah, because it's also a recording device to record the conversation.
The city, the tech, the weapons.
Claw helpfully exposits this information to Ross, even though he has no incentive to do so except for getting more screen time. Hey, you really can't blame Andy Serkis for milking it there. At least he gets to show his actual face for once, despite his
Because maybe the shady CIA guy would have teamed up with Claw and made Claw even richer. Duh.
and taking off the mask. T'Challa impressively pulls off a flawless zoom and enhance cliche. Even though they relentlessly pursued Claw throughout the entire city of Busan, I guess they'll just let him go here, along with the people that own whatever weapon kicked T'Challa's ass a second ago.
So that was a very pivotal moment where T'Challa realized that one, someone else had the ring of his royal royal line, and two, he stopped his new tech. So clearly this guy knew all about this guy in this mask knew all about Wakanda, and it was shocking enough not to chase him because it's like, okay, what? It was just shocking. I mean, really?
But it's Ross that's dying. Why the hell would Okoye say this? Why?
Give me a
Because she doesn't care about Ross.
wee bit. This will stabilize him for now.
Yeah, I'll just stick my who's a what into his whatchamacallit, something vibranium.
Give him to us. We can save him.
And
I mean, the vibranium went into his. That's a stupid one. You could. Yeah, there's no sound in space. They don't explain everything. Whatever. That was a dumb one.
oh, the CIA people just said, okay, and let him be taken back for healing to what they truly believe is a third world country.
That's a
This
loophole.
man is a foreign
That's a plot hole.
intelligence operative. How do we justify bringing him into our borders?
This is an excellent point. They haven't let anyone into Wakanda for centuries, but they have to get Ross back there or he'll die. It's not like they're inviting some random asshole that won't tell anyone. This motherfucker's in the CIA.
30 years you'll fight.
He let Bucky and Steve there, so he's letting people into Wakanda.
Was in power and did nothing. With you, I thought it'd be different.
But T'Challa's only been king for like 2 days, and he's spent most of that time chasing Claw. Give him a fucking break, man.
He promised him that he would bring Claw back. In that culture, like, we don't understand the shame culture. Like, when you break your word, it's a big deal.
His weapon on me.
I know Njobu's done some questionable but why did T'Chaka have to kill him dead? He's already disarmed him, right? This entire movie could have been 80% less conflict if T'Chaka just uses, like, Wakanda neck pinch or something. Man, Claw looks pretty good.
He was probably on tiptoeing killing him, kind of going back and forth, and that was probably like the sudden, like, fight or flight kind of thing that tipped the scales to make him kind of just stab him. I mean, he probably, like, wouldn't have done it if he had time to think, but it was like kind of a snap moment. I mean, it's totally legit. That's stupid.
For a corpse that's been flown from South Korea all the way to Wakanda in a tiny, unrefrigerated prop plane and then dragged across the prairie in the middle of a hot day.
He's all
Don't
yellow.
touch anything. My brother will return
He's
soon.
like the king.
Wow, Everett Ross may be the first movie character in history told not to touch anything that actually doesn't touch anything.
There's vibranium on those trains?
That's
There's
what happened.
vibranium all around us.
I understand the conflict about wanting to heal Ross in Wakanda after he technically saved Nakia's life. But once he was okay, they could totally move him somewhere else, other than the technological hub of the entire country.
You can't let your
Ross represented, like, the the fact that they could trust outsiders. Like, letting an outsider in would probably not lead to all the crap that all the past Black Panthers thought it would.
mistakes define who you are.
thing my kids will be chanting at themselves into the mirror their entire lives. But also, he can, and he should, and he does, because he lets his father's mistakes eventually help define T'Challa himself as a better king, more open to the world and giving aid. His father's mistakes directly led to who he becomes and how he defines himself.
But T'Challa lived in all of the good that his father was, and that gave him strength, and that allowed him to carry on, and he thought his father was awesome. So, and he thought it was perfect. So, the fact that he made mistakes, that would mean that T'Challa was a mistake because he followed directly in the shadow of his father, and that's how they trained their sons to be, to do exactly what their father did. So, that would mean that he was flawed too. So, it's a more literal define, like you can't let him define like in the literal sense, like to be somebody who makes those types of mistakes as well. So, kind of missed the point there.
Kill you where you stand is because I know who you are.
Is that really the only reason? Like, why is Eric even really in trouble? He's got a Wakandan tattoo, so he's not trespassing. Sure, he's a little disrespectful, but that's hardly worthy of a death sentence.
I found my death.
Did he forget about that scene where he blew him away with the weapon and saw him drive away with the vibranium? He must have forgot about that scene.
With panther claws in his chest.
Record scratch? Wouldn't T'Chaka's claws have been part of his suit and retracted back after the stabbing? Why'd he eject the claws and leave them in the dead body? He literally said to the other guy, tell no one of this, and then I guess followed that up with, but I'm gonna leave these claws here like a riddle or something. Yeah!
I meant to say.
Probably Panther marks. Like, I mean, most likely it was the marks, because from the scene, clearly there were no claws left in his chest. So he probably saw that it was like something there. So he probably either thought it was an animal or, oh, hey, look, I have this book with all the Wakandan knowledge and heritage. Oh, maybe it was a panther. Maybe it was a Black Panther who killed my father.
To my blood right. The challenge for the mantles of King and Black Panther.
Okay, but can Eric really do this? There was a whole thing earlier about the challenge being on a specific day, when the other tribes declined to challenge before M'Baku. Can any one of those warriors walk in and challenge at any time? I know we in the US probably shouldn't be judging any other country's politics, but that seems like an inefficient system. Also, let's talk about Killmonger's way unnecessary...
Okay. So, no, he can't do that. But he did. He challenged him. He could have just said, no, go to jail, I'll kill you. But the turmoil that T'Challa was facing over what his father did and how he was trying to find his place as a king who just had his world shaken, realizing what his father had done, went ahead and accepted it. It was very unorthodox, but you could see from T'Challa bringing back Ross, bringing back Bucky, bringing back Steve, that he was already starting to be unorthodox. So yeah, he accepted this unorthodox challenge.
Complicated plan. He stole the vibranium from the museum in London just so he could get T'Challa's interest in capturing Claw in Busan. But if Claw's group killed T'Challa, Eric wouldn't have had the chance to challenge him for the throne. And why does he need all this to happen anyway? If all he's trying to do is get Chris from Get Out's support in Wakanda, he could have just killed Claw ages ago, considering he already knows where Wakanda is.
And all this death, just so I could kill.
Nope, he did not know exactly where Wakanda was. He knew maybe around the area where Wakanda was, but only Claw knew exactly where Wakanda was. And I don't know if they had some sort of conversation, but I'm assuming they had some sort of conversation where he told him where Wakanda was. And also, you can't just kill Claw. You had to alert them that the vibranium was stolen, and you had to put their sights on their longtime enemy so that they would go out and try to get him. They wouldn't just go out and try to get Killmonger for no reason. And if he just showed up, they would have just killed him. You needed all that stuff that he did before.
Man, and I thought my family get-togethers were awkward. Last year's Thanksgiving got nothing on this. Killmonger is at once one of our best comic book movie villains ever, and one of our stupidest. This is just so much dumb it kind of hurts the brain. Also, look, I don't know if there's a way to do this where it's not obvious, but who the believes for a second that T'Challa's dead here? There's 40 minutes of runtime left. He's the titular character, and there's magic doohickeys all over the place here. Of course he survives this.
Yeah, there's a little thing called a comic book with a scene in the comic book that the movie's trying to pay homage to this really cool scene in the Black Panther comic where Killmonger throws T'Challa off of the waterfall, and the shot that they have in the movie looked exactly like the comic book, paying homage, and it was amazing.
Eric beat T'Challa and everything, but he also just randomly murdered Ghost Dog during the fight, who's a pretty important figure in Wakanda. Doesn't that get him in any trouble?
I am loyal to that throne, no matter who sits upon it.
Might be time to reassess the priorities, no?
Burn it all!
So thankfully
That's
she,
tradition.
I guess, suspected Killmonger might go all burn the witch on the purple flower, and came here to grab one she intends to use to give T'Challa back his panther powers. But then after that, that's it, right? No more flowers, no more panthers after T'Challa, right? We start this throne.
She just went to grab the flower. She didn't know he was gonna burn it, and yeah, he burned it. But that can easily be explained in the next movie or something. Like, oh, we're regrowing these or something like that. Not that bad.
Seen upside down as a very subtle way of reminding the audience that here in Wakanda, things are currently upside down.
The new king.
That was all Coogler's directing genius, and I'm so glad he did the upside downs, because yeah, it showed Wakanda was all turned upside down, and it was awesome.
Yes, the new king.
God damn it, tell me to stop taking all these sins off.
Impossible.
Dude, he's just lying there, probably dead. That's entirely possible, given the proximity of the mountains to the waterfall.
One of our fishermen found him at the edge of the river border. He brought him to me.
And I didn't tell anyone, like for however long it took for Killmonger to get red-dirted and purple planted, and then go up and change clothes, and then go into the throne room and order weapons sent to the War Dog spies. Yeah, I didn't say to anyone that whole time. I just assumed you guys would deduce that he was still alive and up here in the mountains and come here to retrieve him. And now you have! Amazing!
I can heal him.
They didn't explain why he was there, but that's just what happened. You don't need to think so much into why he was there and why he didn't tell anybody. They don't have a good relationship with everyone else there. T'Challa was there. He probably was going to get better, get healthier, and then he was going to probably go back to where he was before in a story. Probably, I don't know. But yeah, that was dumb.
Take him. He'll be dead in seconds.
Damn, everyone in this country seems to be able to diagnose and heal anyone with impunity. I love how the herb that gives a normal human superpowers is now going to serve double duty as an herb that flat out heals mortally wounded dudes near death.
That's part of the herb.
Of our discovery stop us from doing what is right.
This is the same realization Chris and I had just before starting CinemaSins.
We
I don't even know how to respond to that.
will not help you.
Character insists they won't do a thing only to change their mind off screen in a few minutes of movie time and do that very thing cliche.
Okay,
you
that's
know, they made
cliche.
it seem like Shuri ran this entire country's tech during the whole movie, and Baku even called her out in the first challenge. So how are they able to put this massive effort of the weapons distribution together without her?
All that challenge
Because part of technological advancement is automation.
is over with. I'm the king now. Get those planes in the air.
But everyone can see T'Challa, right? And everyone knows the challenge rules. So why is everyone doing what Killmonger said? They can't wait for T'Challa to walk across the field.
Wakanda,
Because they're scared of Killmonger.
kill this clown.
This entire movie has been about Killmonger and his killing boner for T'Challa. But now that he sees he's clearly still alive, he tells W'Kabi to do it.
Wrong. The entire movie is not about Killmonger wanting to kill T'Challa. He doesn't even really care about T'Challa. He just wanted the throne. That was the dumbest one.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I know W'Kabi was pissed at T'Challa for not killing Claw, but his willingness to kill what was his best friend until like a week ago is jarring.
Again, and I didn't mention before, Claw killed W'Kabi's father, and T'Challa promised he would bring Claw back, and he didn't. That stung. Yes, it was jarring.
Ah, cool. We're all gonna stop fighting and patiently wait for the over-CGI'd rhinos to show up and make this otherwise excellent movie into a show. Donald Rhino.
Again, paying homage to a comic. The rhinos were an integral part of the comic, and they were paying homage to it. I mean, this guy's freaking casual or something.
Take this movie into full-on Lord of the Rings mode for the finale, and that's not a good thing.
I made it American style for you. Get in.
First off, when did Shuri have time to make this American style? And how is that even an option? And what does that even mean? It's not like the US only has one type of vibranium-powered aircraft. In fact, I'm pretty sure we don't have any.
American style is the joysticks. You have a joystick, right, with the buttons. That's American style. They put their hands over whatever, and they fly the plane like this. So
laser paws! Okay, I know I've hit the CGI in this movie hard, and it totally
Promise.
deserves it, but this is just egregious. We've literally fallen into a pit of cliched darkness, with a large dose of rubber Neo and a healthy amount of same versus same. You're better than this movie.
You want to
I
see
thought that
us
was
become just like the people you hate so much.
Couldn't T'Challa at least mention that he's had a change of heart and wants to help the world now? Isn't that worth a
Yeah,
shot
I
before
agree
someone
with
gets
that.
killed again?
Would you kill me, my love?
Oh yeah, remember that these two are, I don't know, dating, I guess? Because it has no bearing on
Married.
anything that happens in this movie until now.
Bury me in the ocean. With my ancestors that jumped from...
Yeah, it had total bearing of what happened in the movie. Okoye represented the tradition of Wakanda. The whole movie was, the theme of the movie was tradition versus innovation. So that was very important to show just how hardcore Okoye was about Wakanda. And how, and just the underlying themes of how hard it is to break out of the tradition of Wakanda. And it went along with how he went back to the ancestral plane and he told all of them that they were wrong, all of the Black Panthers that they were wrong. So it went perfectly with it.
Ships. Because they knew death was better than bondage.
So everything went back to normal after that enormous fight? All those Wakandans that died for the super quick rule of Killmonger are just dead? We all cool now? Once again,
They probably should have addressed that a little bit more. Yeah.
Wakanda, now making out on a very public street, attracts no interest from the common folk. Bucky.
Bucky's awesome. Okay. That was like 3 legitimate things, and they weren't even really that bad. And they missed the big plot hole of Killmonger growing up, and they didn't address who his mother was or how he got to where he got. That was a bigger plot hole, so they didn't mention that. There were really no other plot holes, so they say 105, but it's really just 3.
Claude. It's becoming a claw!
Look at me.
Okay, whatever. Alright, I'm done. So, yeah. I don't know. Yeah. So just like all of the critics of the Black Panther movie, their criticisms are easily explained away. And it seems as though they weren't actually watching the movie. So, that's it.